you were kind of touching on this earlier, but I wanted to dive a little bit more into it. Now, Durden's a fan of Joe Rogan's podcast, and we both, of course, grew up on Pauly Shore. So we're no stranger to what you mentioned before, the lure of Mitzi Shore's Comedy Store. Now, you performed all over.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I intentionally worded that question because I was hoping you would fumble it so bad. I made it like a Dr. Seuss.
Listen, I don't fumble. The game's on. I don't fumble. Put me in, coach. So
right.
you performed all over. What is it about the Comedy Store that sets it apart and makes it such a sacred place for comedians? Because I've heard Dave Chappelle and other comedians say when they're working on something, they go back to the Comedy Store and get it right before they go. So talk to us about that.
Well, the Comedy Store gives you the freedom, all the freedom in the world to experiment. And once you're a paid regular, you know, you could experiment and it was a home. It was a family. You know what I mean? It was so many talented comics, you know, so many talented comics. And it was just an honor to be a part of them. You know, I mean, I can't put it in words how great it was. It was just a time where talent just flourished. Do you know what I mean? It was like one comic after the next was just as good as, you know, everybody was in their A game. And that's where you went to try out new material. That's where you went to just hang out with your friends and family because they became a family. You know what I mean? And many a night, I would go on second to last and Kinnison would go on last, or I would go on last and Kinnison would go on second to last. And we worked together up in San Francisco before I moved down to LA, you know? So I knew Sam pretty well and I knew Robin from San Francisco also. So that was pretty neat. That was a pretty good, you know, I had I had just finished, was a finalist in the San Francisco comedy competition in '85. And in those years, that was the only comedy competition in the country, in North America. So I came in fourth, which was pretty cool. And after that, I packed up and I moved to LA and I went right on stage at the Comedy Store. Was a paid regular right out of the gate. Never showcased for Mitzi. I may be the only one who never showcased for Mitzi.
I saw like Ellen DeGeneres came ahead or something like that, right?
Sinbad won. Ellen DeGeneres came in second. A guy named Evan Davis came in third. I came in fourth, and Stephen Pearl came in fifth.
Did you ever have any experience with Ellen DeGeneres?
You know, I just met her during that competition, and she was cordial. She was very nice. You know, I mean, she was playing at another league than the rest of us. She was, you know, she was going places. I mean, Sinbad did all right for a while, but Ellen had, you know, she sustained, you know, popularity for what, decades?
Yeah. She always rubbed me the wrong way for some reason. I don't know. I felt like nobody could be that nice. And I was so happy when that hashtag happened in like early 2020, where people just started sharing stories about bad experiences with Ellen DeGeneres.
Right, like she's some sort of monster backstage.
That's the way they made it out. Yeah. Like, yes, finally the world sees her the way
Helen. It wasn't no longer Ellen, it was Helen.
Yeah, Helen DeGenerate. Yeah, I mean, my wife loves her. I think that's why I don't. But I heard at the Comedy Store, like as great as what happens on the stage is, the magic really happens like behind the store or outside in the back.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
There was a real tight-knit community in San Francisco also where, like, you know, I may sit down and say, you know, this joke's not working for me. Maybe it'll do better in your act. Why don't you try it? You know?
That's awesome.
Because, you know, and if somebody said to that person, that's Kravitz's joke, I would say, no, I gave them permission to use it. Because stealing is the ultimate crime in stand-up comedy. If you're known for stealing material, you don't work. We police our own.
Mencina? Was it Mencina?
Yeah, where's Carlos Mencina? He's slowly crawling back up, which that's a complicated story from what I've heard on both ends. Yeah.
Right. Not a big fan of Carlos.
I know Mind Mencia, he's a good thing he got canceled for stealing jokes, because Mind Mencia would have got him canceled just on the content alone. That shit would not fly in 2021.
Right.